Welcome back to Dreamkatcher Daily. Today we arrive at card 13 in the Major Arcana, the Death card. This is one of the most misunderstood cards in the entire tarot. Many people see it and fear, but the Death card rarely speaks of physical death. Instead, it reveals something deeper: endings, transformation, and the rebirth that follows. Death is about closing one chapter so another can begin. Think of a snake shedding its skin, or a caterpillar dissolving into a butterfly. The old must fall away so that something new can emerge. Death is the great transformer, and while the process is not always easy, it is always necessary. In our last lesson, we explored the Hangman, a card of surrender and suspended perspective. Death flows naturally, because once you've released control, what no longer serves you begins to fall away. Death is card 13. 13 has long carried a reputation as unlucky, but in tarot, it simply marks profound transformation. Breaking it down, 1 plus 3 equals 4. 4 is the number of foundations, stability, and structure. The paradox is clear. We must first experience upheaval, loss, and change before we can build something solid and lasting. Death whispers, to reach true stability, you must let go of what is unstable. What in your life has reached its natural ending? And how might letting go create a stronger foundation for what comes next? Death is ruled by Scorpio, the deep water sign of transformation, intensity, and renewal. Scorpio energy dives beneath the surface to expose truth. It strips away illusions and demands rebirth. Scorpio's ruling planet Pluto reinforces this theme, the power of death and regeneration, of endings that clear the way for beginnings. The element here is water, tied to emotions, cycles, and purification. Water can erode stone, carve valleys, and reshape the land. In the same way, Death card reshapes us through release, washing away what is stagnant to make space for new growth. Let's walk carefully through the imagery of the Rider-Waite Death card, from top to bottom. The sky is a neutral gray, the color of transition, endings, and limitality. It is neither day nor night, but in the heaven. It's in between. Out of this muted skies rise the golden sun between two stone towers. The moment of yellow light reminds us that every ending brings the promise of a new beginning. In the center, Death rides forward on a pure white horse. White represents inevitability, purity, and spiritual truth. The horse steps calmly, reminding us that change arrives not chaotically, but with steady purpose. Death himself is a skeleton clad in black armor, stripped down to the bone. He is the essence of life that cannot be destroyed. His black armor speaks of mystery, the unknown, and the certainty of transformation. Death cannot be wounded. He does not stop. In his hand he carries a black banner with a white rose. Black is the void, the unknown we often fear. Against it blooms a 5-petaled white rose, symbolizing purity, rebirth, and immortality. The 5 petals reflect the fullness of human life, our senses, our experiences, our mortality, all caught up in transformation. At the horse's feet lies a fallen king, dressed in robes of blue and white, and with red shoes. Blue represents intellect and authority. White represents purity and dominion, and red is vitality and will. Yet none of these protect him. At his side rests a fallen golden crown, symbol of earthly power. Now powerless before the march of death, even kings must surrender to change. Standing directly before the horse is a bishop with a golden yellow robe, hands raised in prayer. Yellow symbolizes illumination and faith, the human attempt to meet transformation with spirituality. Yet his prayer cannot halt the horse. Even faith must bow to the cycle of endings. Beside him, a maiden dressed in white turns her face away in sorrow. Waite here speaks of innocence, overwhelmed by grief. At her side, a child in blue looks up at death without fear. Blue is truth and openness. The child shows us that transformation is natural. Fear is something we have learned with age. In the distance, a river flows calmly, colored blue. It represents emotion, intuition, and continuity. Across it, a small boat sails, echoing the river Styx, ferrying souls from the life to the next world. It reminds us that transformation is a passage, not an end, but a journey to renewal. The lesson of the deck card is release. Transformation requires letting go. We cannot cling to what is gone and still move forward. This card asks, what in your life needs to die so that something new can live? It may be a relationship, a job, a role, or an identity that has just run its course. It may be habits, fears, or beliefs that hold you back. Death teaches that resisting change only prolongs suffering. But when we surrender, when we honor the endings, we open space for rebirth. What part of yourself are you being asked to release right now? And what new life might be waiting as to take its place? When the death card appears upright, it signals that transformation is already in motion. An ending is unfolding, but is not to be feared. It is the doorway to something new. This card speaks of release, the closing of one chapter and the rebirth of another. It asks you to let go of what no longer serves, so that space can open for growth, freedom, and renewal. Upright death is not doom, it is liberation. It is the promise that even the most difficult change carries with it the gift of rebirth and a deeper alignment with your true path. When death card appears reversed, the energy of transformation is being blocked or resisted. Here we can cling to the past, fear of change, and a heavy weight of stagnation. The reversal does not mean transformation won't happen, only that you may be delaying it through resistance. Often, deep down, you already know it must end, yet the refusal to release creates tension and struggle. The more tightly you cling, the harder the shift will feel when it finally breaks through. Reversed, the death card invites you to loosen your grip and trust the process, because transformation will find you, whether you walk with it willingly or not. The death card is not an omen of disaster. It's a reminder of life's most powerful truth. Endings are sacred because they make room for beginnings. When this card appears, don't fear it. Instead, ask yourself, what is finished? What is ready to be released? And what dawn is rising beyond this ending? Next, we'll explore temperance, the balancing, healing energy that follows the transformation of death. Thank you for joining me on today's journey. If this message brought you clarity, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who may need the reminder. I'll see you next time on Dreamkatcher Daily.